don't know why I like this guy's music so much. More jealous than anything else. Okay, we have Chipper 66, Clifford Baldwin, Aaron Dennis, and Sue 103. How are y'all doing this evening? I gotta tell Dana I went live so she don't get mad at me. It was just so short. I could play some copyrighted stuff. Y'all want me to? No. Well, doesn't matter over here because and before y'all start sending bukus of messages and crap, I'm turning the volume off. Don't take that notification sound as a way to party on. So, there she is. They don't work. I've eaten too many. I bought these peanuts right here. They're like honey roasted peanuts. I was going to take them on my camping trip. And, well, they didn't make it that far. Clifford, specifically which camping trip? Because there's one that I'm gearing up to go that I haven't left for yet. I don't leave until the 5th. But I've returned from 2 others. So I go camping a lot. Was thinking about that the other day. I go camping a lot. I'm really hoping this is gone by the time I leave for the mountains. It got really bad. I don't know, the past week or something. The flowers have started blooming here and there. So I've got hay fever. So purple flowers mean joy for Wes. Joyful sneezing and coughing and stuff. But I think I already had the Wuhan stuff and it just got worse. Sorry, B. I'm accepting donations if anybody wants to give me money or whatever to buy the high energy, low weight stuff off of Amazon. They have fruit coated cashews, which are the bomb. They're like the best things ever. Hey, Aiden here. For those of you that read the title to the deal, which now I can't remember, we have dead cows and politicians. One we could use more of, and the other one we've got too many of. Y'all figure out which one's which. I don't think it's really that hard to figure it out, but I'll leave that up to you. Y'all are going to get since this channel ain't monetized anyway, I can show y'all whatever I want to. So I'm going to let y'all in on we'll give you all a preview of a review video that I'm working on, so y'all can enjoy that. Because, well, to be honest with you, it's the I like it. I've had a few of these things. This is the first one that I've actually been like, wow, this is pretty badass. So, yeah. Everybody, cover your eyes. I'm gonna turn the camera on. Y'all ready for this? Here comes camera. You were warned. There's my lowly face. I'm bacheloring it this evening because the missus is at a conference for her job. Her job. Her job. She has a job. So I have Redbox movies and you guys. The thing came in this little box. I took it out of here though. It came with tools. Exactly. Tipper. Eat more vegans. Cows are the original vegan. Except for that part where they eat the afterbirth off their cows. Or calves. Which is, gross. Yeah. That's the reason. Lots of vegan bacon's just tasty. Ew. Got a young man signed up. He's going heading for boot camp tomorrow. Well, please tell me he's not a jarhead. I don't know what branch he's joining. Hopefully he's got enough sense to go with one of the non-combatant ones, like the Air Force or the Navy. Nah, that was a joke. Y'all don't get mad at me. Family in the Navy and family in the Air Force. And family in the Marines, family in the Army. And the only ones that have ever had to bust a cap on anybody were the Marines and the Army. So, I'll be right back. I had to come over here and get something scary. Oh. Worked too hard last night. That's the rest of the story. I'll tell you. This is with the little sneak preview. You see that? That little thing? Little black box where my nose is at? That's a red dot sight. See the peep sight on the back though? It's not in the way of my peep sight. Look right through the window. It actually aids my peep sight to a degree. It's like Navy. See, smart kid. Navy has better benefit package and they treat their. So I hear they treat their enlisted personnel better. But anyhow, this battery cap loose. Little dot's bright. I already got it sighted in. I just need to. Been waiting for the weather to clear up a little bit so I can go. But it's $60. The Last two I got, they were, one was 80 and one was 100, and they're not still on the firearms. So that one, the people were like, "Hey, we'll send you that if." Oh, I met him. I met that kid. I think. Anyway, I'm not a big battery operated optics person because, well, when you prep for, the end of all shipping and receiving, then being dependent on batteries to me is a bad idea. Being dependent on firepower to keep your preps safe, to me isn't even, I mean, I know we've got to do it or whatever, but I think it's more important to have seclusion and difficulty of access is going to be a lot bigger deterrent to marauding bands of carnivorous or carnivorous cannibalistic city dwellers, okay, than 50,000 rounds of ammunition. Because if you got to move, you're not going to be able to carry the ammo. You can only store so much reload and stuff. You can only store so much ammo. Ammo and reloading and stuff like that for the modern rifles, it's well, yeah. My brother played around with reloading some ammunition for the bolt action rifle, or for his bolt action rifle, the deer rifles, and loading them with black powder. It works. So you can reload your deer rifle with black powder and continue to use your deer rifle. Your gun gets dirty fast. And, your range decreases and yada, yada, yada. So, because it burns slower, so you don't get the pressures that you would get in something else. You've got to use more powder. So you've got a giant plume of unburned powder coming out the end of the gun. So anyway. That's the deal. You got to have a backup. But when you're talking about your rifle, your primary source of throwing projectiles down range, you do not want to have to take an optic off and put another optic on and then have to wonder whether or not it's zeroed. Because in a post modern day situation, you don't want to have to spend 10, 15, 20 rounds downrange to zero your rifle. You don't. I zero my rifle at a specific range, and then I windage everything. I use Kentucky windage. That's the only downside to that is you have to know how big, what it is you're shooting at is. You have to be able to, you have to know the ranges. You know, nowadays you can use a rangefinder. You know, I don't know how many people actually have their electronic rangefinder in a EMP proof ammo box. So yes, you can, but I mean, that's a lot of work. That's just what I'm saying. I mean, you know, if you've got a crew, a big crew or something, you'll be all right. But, you know, so you have to have a firefight, and then you got to go around, you got to pick up 500-600 rounds of brass. Of course, you're going to go get the dead people's brass. If you're lucky, they didn't use all their ammunition, and their ammunition is the same as your ammunition, so you can get some of your ammo back. But then you've got all this empty brass that you've got to spend all this time loading and la da da. But you know, like I say, if you can get your uh, situations like that, it's going to be the long game. I read well, I didn't read it. It was audio book, but I listened to an audio book called uh, The Last Command. It was a series. It's a zombie apocalypse thing. But three or four people with ARs were able to effectively end uh, a siege of several thousand zombies from whatever. But I mean, that's a lot of ammo, and they literally the ammo cart. It took all three of them weeks to drag it to the location, and then after the ammo was spent, that was it. That was it. It was the end of it. There's debate on that. What my brother told me is until you think it's going to fail. Every time you use a casing, it expands just a little bit when it lets the bullet fly, when it lets the slug fly, when the projectile leaves the casing. And then you have to resize the casing. I mean, there's so many variables in that. How tight, what side of the tolerances is your rifle on? You know, is it at the outside of the plus or minus on the chamber, or is it at the inside of the plus or minus on the chamber? If it's at the inside of the plus or minus on the chamber, you're going to get more reloads out of each casing because it can't expand as much as the one that's on the outside of the tolerances. There's no right answer for how many times. We had a rule of 4 before we did a sit. You know, we'd look at each one, but after 4 reloads on the rifle rounds, we did a hold with the. We didn't just hold it up to light and go, it looks good. That looks good. I mean, we held it up, we checked it out, and we moved on. Now we did that before and after we cleaned them, not just before, and not just after. There's reasons for that. Yeah, and then you can retrim it. But all you're worried about on the other stuff is whether or not it's got a split or a crack. And if you're getting splits, regularly getting splits or cracks in your ammunition or in your casings, you don't need to worry about reloading anymore. You need to worry about getting a new receiver. So. After you've shot everything 4 times, then you check it. And if it's still good, you're fine. Or like, if you have to resize it, trim it, deburr it, blah, 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 you do that. You just got to be advised that brass doesn't like to be bent. And technically when it expands and then you squeeze it back, you're bending it. You expand it, you squeeze it back, you're bending. It's just, we had casings that I know we had reloaded 10 or 15 times each when I was a kid. This is a long time ago. I haven't reloaded anything since I was 18 years old. Didn't have to. My brother did it all. So, who else is snuck in here on us? Yeah, once they split, they're done. They're scrap metal. The guy that I get my shells from, he reloads ammo. I bought the wrong ones last time. I got light loads on my 357s, and that was stupid on my part. I don't know if I have a box. It's got a card. It's a personal friend of mine. It's Caprock Guns and Ammo. Flew van to Texas. Anyway, he'll buy brass, but 223 and 556, that stuff, he gives you scrap metal price. That's it. And then that's literally what he does with it. He waits for the scrap price to go up, and then he takes it to the scrap yard because there's so much of that brass out there. And you can't, at the 223 and 556 is so mass produced. There's so much of it out there that he can't economically compete with that. It'd be like trying to reload 22. I mean, there's just so much 22 ammunition out there. It would be stupid to try to reload your own. You can't. I mean, you can reload 22, but you cannot do it in an economically feasible manner. I mean, you can buy a box of 50 for, $250. So if it's going to cost you, if you can get them for 10 cents a round, why you want to pay 20 cents? Because you got to figure your labor in. If you don't have any other access to them, yeah. I mean, it's a skill I strongly suggest you learn. I suggest you get the skill of making your own powder. I suggest that you learn the skill of pouring your own lead. You do not have to have, people, you do not have to have a copper casing on your projectile. Without a copper casing on your projectile, you have to clean your rifle more. But if you're just using it to shoot elk or mooses or zombies, well, zombies, I don't know. If they zombies, you got to head shoot them anyway. So, and then sound sensitive. So when you shoot one in the head, then the other 100 in the area, they zero in on your location. So you've got to be shooting subsonic rounds anyway with silencer. And so they've got to be really close because it's a subsonic round, and the fall off because of the muzzle velocity is so intense. You've got no range on the subsonic ammunition. You're screwed. So, yeah. I brought up zombies. There is a movie on Amazon Prime, I believe, or Netflix. You have to Google it. Dadgummit, what was it called now? I watched it last night. That was good. That was the most believable zombie movie I have. Open Grave. The name of the movie is Open Grave. At the end, you're just like, damn it. You're not like, ah! You're just the whole way through, you're like, oh, this sucks. You're like, oh, happy ending. Yay. It's a good movie. So I hate happy endings. They just annoy me. Yes, you can put a little bit of a coating on there, which helps in the leading of your barrel, but still without the sleeve on there, then heat. Yeah, you're funny, Aid. How many people are 8? Who wants to? We're not. This wasn't even part of it. We were supposed to talk about reloading and junk like that. Who wants to hear my dead cow story before we start ranting about politicians? Because I'm gonna rant about some politicians. Or y'all want to do the politicians and then the cow story? What would y'all? But I'm gonna go get some coffee, and while I'm gone, y'all tell me what y'all want to hear. You want to hear the cow story first, or the politician story first? Because it's important to me to satisfy my viewing public in my live streams. I do not want y'all to leave here feeling as though I just didn't do it for you. Okay? I want y'all to be happy and satisfied when you leave. So y'all tell me what y'all want. I'll put some coffee in this. I'll be right back. Oh. Ow. Okay, we got cows. Tell us about the cow. Tell us about the cow. Okay. Cows it is. This isn't going to be like the funniest story I ever told, but it was fun last night. I hurt everywhere though. And this is going to be the segue into the politicians. I got a phone call from my son yesterday, which automatically caused me a response of, what do you need? Because, well, we all know that when your son calls and says, hey, Dad, what's up? It means, hey, Dad, really hope you're not busy. So, which he was real cool about it. And he wasn't begging help or anything. So I don't mean to be like that. He did the smart thing. I was like, nothing. Wow, what you got going on? As well, a friend of mine has a cow that he needs to butcher. And, well, how long has it been since you butchered a cow? And I'm like, oh, a while. But the difference between a cow and a deer is poundage. The end. There's more meat on a cow. There's bigger bones in a cow. There's thicker hide in a cow. Cows are actually a ton easier to skin. I'd a whole lot rather skin a cow than a deer, if you want to know the honest God truth. So cows are about as easy, once you get them opened up, the hide comes off just like a daggum rabbit. I mean, they're easy to hide. But anyway, how to get out, how to get the cow. Farmer or rancher gave it to him. Why did the rancher give him a cow? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, it was a 400 to 500 pound heifer. First year heifer. She wasn't. But anyway, apparently she miscarried a calf, but she shouldn't have been pregnant. They knew she was moving slow the entire time. That when they had her out in the pasture, or whatever, they didn't think nothing of it. She just wasn't walking around as much as the other ones. Well, apparently, when a full-size bull mounts a 400-pound heifer, which she went into estrus too early, that's not the bull's fault. Their hips can't take it. Some of them heal up before the calf comes. Some of them don't. This one didn't. So, because the calf didn't go to term. When she delivered, her hip dislocated. She walked away from, she laid down. Something came in and ate her calf in her afterbirth, and she stayed there for 3 days. The individual that wound up with her is a tractor mechanic. Long story short, the rancher's like, do you want that? Because we're just going to put her down. I mean, and that's, if she can't walk in the trailer and go and get to the slaughterhouse live, they can't sell her. So that's, that heifer probably cost him $900. I'll bullshit, put aside. That heifer probably cost that rancher $900. He got nothing out of it. He didn't even get a calf, which is what, when you buy heifers, that's their job. You feed them until they're old enough to breed. You breed them, and then they calf. And then you make your money off the calf. So you've got to buy a cow so that they will have a cow, so that you can sell a cow, so you can break even. And then you've got to feed that same cow another year so that you can have another calf, so you can make a little bit of money off of the feed for the first 2 years. If you're lucky. If the market's up. If the market's down, you don't make anything. If the cost of diesel goes up too high and you can't run the hay, if there's a drought and you can't find hay, if there's no rain and there's no grass, if there's no water, if you got to haul water, if you got to buy supplemental feed and stuff, the cost of raising cattle can be insane. Long story short, the guy was just flabbergasted that the guy said, do you want this $1,000 cow that is just going to lay here in the pasture? He got the cow. They euthanized it humanely. And the rancher put it in the back of his truck. And he took it, and I went over there and I helped them. Did most of it, but it doesn't matter. I mean, if I knew what I was doing, they didn't. That's what you do. If you got somebody who knows what they're doing, you do it. You do it slow enough, and you talk your way through it when the guys are watching, that maybe they can do it themselves next time. It's called teaching. But anyway, so the guy got the bank. He got the bank. I keep saying 100 pounds, and if you take the bones out of what's in the coolers and hanging in the cool room, it's about 100 pounds. They scored about 100 pounds of prime beef. She wasn't missing any meals because it's been raining, and it was in a good part of the country and stuff, so she didn't have to walk far to eat. And that's why she wasn't walking all over the place, because there was food and water available right where she was at. But anyway, it was easy to spot. why she didn't get back up when we were butchering. Would have took surgery to put the head back together. Yes, he bled it. I mean, that's the rancher was there, was able to tell him, yeah, to put it, and then he cut her. He cut its throat, so it bled. Um, they hung it for a bit on the forklift, so that part's good. And that's part of it. I mean, the short of the story is we talked trash and made jokes, and quite a few of them were off color and inappropriate, and some of them were at the expense of a insanely gung-ho 5-year-old young man that was helping. I'd cut a chunk of meat off of that animal, and he would put hands on it, and he'd carry it to the cooler. His only payment for all the work that he did is he wanted, when we were done, he wanted to cut the tail off of that cow. I really hope his mama lets him keep it, because reasons. All right, C103, have a good one. Thanks for coming in, man. And that's the thing. I mean, how many of us in here? Well, I know some of us can say, okay, somebody needs me to go help them butcher an animal. The guy tried to give me. He said, take whatever you want out there. That's and I did. I said, I tell you what, I'll take about a foot of one in back straps, and I want the liver. Yours, done deal. But I didn't go over there for half the meat or whatever, or didn't. That wasn't the deal. I mean, you go and you do it. He didn't know that's what it was for until I told him, but now he does. He just wanted to walk around and slap people. Yeah, that was sales cross. And he made the mistake of playing with the discarded udders also while his dad had his camera out. At some point in that young man's life, he's going to want to date. And, well, yeah. That was there were some fatal errors made before I could get there. We did get the heart and the liver, but when they were trying to open the cow, they got one of the stomachs. I mean, it was the front stomach, and she hadn't been eaten in a while, and all that had been in there down on that, because she was laying legs up or whatever. All that had been in there on the stuff on the inside of the cavity. So we elected to leave it. I mean, it's a shame, but if we had, and I told him, I said, next time, don't take it home. Call me and bring it to the house. Because I'm set up to slaughter animals here. I don't know if y'all know that or not. A lot of people are like, we've got a homestead going. Where is your kill station? I have an A-frame out there I can pick up a whole truck with. Well, I don't know if I'd pick up I know I can use it to pull my water well. That's what it's still, that's the last thing I used it for was a water well. But I have a tree limb that if I'm worried about the weight, I just put a 4x4 post under it, and I can lift almost everything that I've butchered on this property, I've butchered off of that tree limb. But I have an A-frame, which I know two of the bigger hogs I use the A-frame for. There's a lot more to homesteading than just throwing out chicken scratch and putting out wood shavings and picking up eggs and going, I like to milk my goat. I mean, there's so much more to it. I mean, okay, we have 10 nannies and one Billy, and the nannies, every one of them deuced out. So now I've got 20, and out of that 20, I only got 5 new ewes, and the rest of them are Billies. So I've got to have X number of rubber bands. I lost track of the numbers I spit out, so that I can weather these goats, so that when I take them to market, I get top dollar for these goats. Because you don't, when you're homesteading for your own food, I mean, I name my garden plants because they're alive too. The stuff that make you alive, the electrical current, that is the difference between inanimate and animate. You Tweedledee and Tweedledum damn vegan people. Okay? It's not coherent thought that makes you alive. It's not anything. It's that electrical current. Okay? It's the same in plants as in animals. It runs through different wires, but it's the same electricity. Okay? So there's my vegan rant. Stop eating if you don't want to eat something that had a life before it made it to your plate. The end. And this whole, I don't eat anything with a face. Racist. Think that just because something doesn't have a face, it's not alive. It doesn't have any rights. I feel very sad for you. Now I'm off that squirrel. Back to it. The animals on your homestead, they're not pets. You treat them as good as you can. You feed them. You give them the medical care they need. You make sure they have shelter. You make sure they have water. You don't beat them with sticks or run them through the briars just because it's convenient for you. You give them the best life you can. And then you either sell them so someone can eat them, or you eat them yourself. If you do anything else, you're not homesteading. You're rescuing or hoarding. Whatever. You need to eat your pigs, Dana. It is a sin to have that much bacon walking around mowing your grass. You got enough biodiesel walking around mowing your grass to 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 drive to California. Technical difficulties with camera. I just made that up. Anyways, what else we want to talk about? We ready to go to politics yet? Bloomberg's an idiot. I'm actually going to do a video in response to Drop Our Face video. If y'all haven't watched the one he did about the Alamo or whatever, y'all really ought to go watch that one. That was really flipping good video, actually. Dry Fire, if you're watching this on a rerun or in the background or something like that, please put the back plate in your carrier. I'm just saying. I don't think you have to worry about the front too much, but you need to put that back one in there. Our billy goat was a pet because, well, we weren't going to eat him. Nastiest stinking pet on the planet, I swear to God. Billy goats are the most disgusting animals on ever. I mean, they're like worse than anything. I'd almost rather have a pet skunk than another billy goat. But it tore me up when he ran off and got tied up in a damn fence and choked to death. I mean, it tore me up. But what are you gonna do? Yeah, that'll never make it out there. We have a guy that has no desire for a successful economy in the state of Texas. Because the successful economy gives everybody a chance to increase their wealth, to increase their worth. It allows everybody to make a better living. It encourages people to open a real business, not a .com. That is, I like to sew blankets for trees.com. If you would like to purchase a blanket from me so I can put it on a tree somewhere out in the forest so it doesn't freaking get cold, you may do so. That's not a business. I don't know what the hell that is. That's some stupid shit that people do. But if you're going to open a place that's going to make people breakfast burritos because everybody else is out there hauling sand or water or drill pipe or downhole casing or whatever, and you're like, okay, they need to eat too, so let's open up a restaurant. The economy is good for you, and you're investing in the economy by creating a job for yourself and those that work under you. That is a successful economy. If you're pushing for an economy where you tax the people that are doing all that so that more people can move into large metropolitan, large population areas and get more assistance from the state and federal governments so that they will vote in more assistance for state and federal or from state and federal governments so you can tax more. See where I'm going or where it's going? I mean, Bloomberg is an idiot. Anybody that thinks that socialism in any way, shape, or form can ever be successful are idiots. if we said, if the United States said, we are not going to help you to Canada in the event of a military invasion, we're not going to help you. We're going to stand on our borders, and as long as it doesn't cross that line, we're going to have nothing to do with you. It would take Russia 24 hours to own, Russia or China, either one, 24 hours to own that country. They have no military. The guys they got are the shit. I mean, they're equal to, or we're just going to leave it at equal to, American soldiers and service people. But they don't have any. They just don't have very many. Well, the Bloomberg's saying, I have a nephew. He did his time. He did 20-something years in the Army. He was in Afghanistan when it first started, and he was in Iraq. He did way too many tours over there. You know how he stayed sane. Literally, he stayed over there too long. But he's a farmer now. When Bloomberg said that he could teach anybody to be a farmer, it's not just teaching somebody to be a farmer. A person has to want to be a farmer. You have to want to suffer daily, to be in massive debt annually, to have a few of the decent things in life so you can spend time with your family and your friends doing the things you love. You have to want to be a farmer. Farming sucks. If you took 20 inner city people and you gave them a profitable amount of acreage, say you give them 400 acres, okay? Irrigated, 400 irrigated acres. Tractor, all the implements and the seeds, and send them to school for 6 months and cut them loose. And said they had to do that the rest of their life, or they had to agree to be on welfare the rest of their life. And I'm talking hard-working people that are used to 9 to 5s and, doing 10-hour shifts and stuff like that. They're not going to do it. They're going to say, screw that. The first time they wake up with tractor, or go to bed with tractor back and wake up with tractor back, they're going to bow out. They're going to say, I'm going to go draw my check. The Russian equipment is not crappy, Walter. I'm sorry. Everybody says that. Russian equipment's not that crappy. Okay. That's like saying that the Nagant is a crappy assault rifle because it's not an AR-15. Geez, that body armor you're wearing will stop that round from that AK or that AR. It is not going to stop that round from that Nagant. Nagant's going to punch right through that crop, and it's going to ruin your day. So that's, they don't have as good of stuff as we, and you don't have to, if you got 10 times as many bullets as the other guy, you don't have to have a fully automatic weapon. The end. You just have to stay behind the rock till he runs out of bullets. Then you win. But Bloomberg's a dumbass. I mean, and he's not the only one. Pelosi, AOC. I would really like to see the results of an IQ test for AOC. I think we would all be, as Americans, definitely as those people who voted her into office, I think would be ashamed of the results of her IQ test. Yeah, it's it's gonna defib you, man. That freaking looks like a damn artillery round. That slug's flipping huge and it's moving, dude. It's like a spear. But anyway, those things were designed to shoot through trees, for crying out loud. And what about the nice little light-skinned Muslim chick? What's her name? Lady. The one from Michigan or Minnesota or wherever, the one which that state, those states up there, they really need to figure out what they're doing wrong. They're too close to Canada. They need to build a wall or something. Yeah. She married her brother when she was married to somebody else and then divorced the other person she married to or something like that. I don't know. She has no morals. She's not even a good Muslim because, you're not allowed to defraud people. It's against the Quran to defraud people. Unless you're a Christian or a Jew, and then they don't count. So technically, by her way of thinking, she probably hasn't broken any rules. How many of y'all have thought about actually getting a hold of the people in your state or whatever and trying to find out who is running in the background that the news isn't talking about and seeing if there's another candidate out there for Senate or Congress or whatever that you might want to get behind and support? It's your end, Dana. It's got to be because I've got nothing open. So my internet's solid. I got nothing going on my end. I didn't even have a video stream going out because I got the camera off. But anyhow, I'll turn the camera back on now. Just because I twist it off don't mean I have to make it look like it's okay to do it. The thing is, you can't bitch about there not being a good person running for office if you're not actively looking for a good person to run for office. Our little independent school district over here was literally on the way to becoming one of the worst schools in the state. And not just because of those stupid test scores, which don't really show anything. If they do away with those testing, and just make it to where the kids had to make the grade. And I don't know, put some UI. Actually, have a government agency out there that was the UIL police, and went around and policed the UIL rules and stuff. That said, okay, no, you padded those grades. That kid is not going to play football. The end. Then we could start producing people that were capable of acquiring, maintaining, and performing a job when they got out of high school. We could go back to that. One of the ads that runs on YouTube all the time is for Grammarly. You're an office worker who got the job based on their degree, and you can't write an email to your boss that doesn't make you sound like a dumbass. You should go back to school or go get a job as a plumber's helper. Get to know the shovel, get to know it well. Because if you have to have a program do your work for you, then that's not the job for you. I honestly believe that. I don't. Trump's kids are overachievers because, quite honestly, if they want anything from the old man's empire, they have to earn it. Because I don't think they get a job and all that just for being junior. I don't think it works that way. There. So I want to change our county people up. They've been in too much. I'm actually in trouble with the missus. Just a little bit. Because I drug my feet too long. I was actually going to run for county commissioner, but I don't think I could get the support I need to get elected. But when you have no idea how important your county commissioner is to the success of your county. None. They vote. All them taxes you pay, all the taxes that you pay, property taxes and all that stuff, your sales tax and all that crap, county sales tax, all that, they vote on how that's spent. We learned that our commissioners were corrupt last month. All of them across the board. We have two entities that are over taxing property owners in the county. The end. They're asking for too much. They keep giving all the executive branches of their organizations raises. And they keep adding to what they do, and which requires more money. And there's no governance over these entities. These entities just say, okay, this is our budget. This is what we have to have from the county to run this year. And the county commissioners can say yes or no. They always say yes, which always forces the tax rate to go up every year for no return to the county. We benefit not in the least from these increases as a county. But the people in control of these entities are somebody's. And the people that want these entities to stand are somebody's. So the commissioners do what the somebody's want. They're not supposed to be working for the somebody's. They're supposed to be working for all of us. We had a chance to roll back the taxes. They said, if you do that, this is what we're going to cut out of the budget. They didn't say we're not going to cut down the increase for these people's salaries. We're not going to cut back on the extra unnecessary employees that should come. I mean, these are money making places. It's not like they're not making money on their own. They said, we're going to take away your library. We're going to take away your city park. We're going to take away your baseball fields. We're going to take away your road maintenance. We're going to take away your Boys and Girls Club. We're going to take away all the things that benefit the county. But we're going to keep the stuff that y'all wanted the rollback to fix. So, yeah. Your local guys are absolutely the most important decision you make. The president. I live in Scurry County, Texas. I don't give a fuck who the president is, to a degree. I need to know whether or not I've got to cough up another $1,200 next year so that it can be divvied up between 80 something people instead of everybody. Your local government is your city councilman. Good gosh, your city councilmen are important. Your mayor is not a figurehead. Your mayor is the voice that carries what you want to the governor, to the county people. Your mayor needs to be the voice of your town, community, village to the leaders of that county. Your mayor has to be pro Second Amendment. Your sheriff has to be pro Second Amendment. Well, Constitution, all the way across the board, Constitution. They have to be pro Constitution, pro Constitution. The city manager, pro Constitution. The what do you call it? County commissioners need to be pro Second Amendment. County judge definitely needs to be pro Constitution. Because then, whenever your county talks to the district representative, says, well, this county, we saw the Constitution. You can guarantee you ain't going to win the vote on this county if you're going some other direction. We're supposed to govern ourselves, and that means we have to be actively participating in politics. Yes, and that's something that shouldn't happen. everybody is. I started talking politics and everybody left the chat. So, as it should be, I suppose. Here we are. That's an hour and 11 minutes anyway. I am going to bounce out of here. All you people, stay alive, do not die. Feel free to go to my West S channel and click on the help out icon and throw me some cash for gas. The county sheriff is elected by the people to protect the people. Yes, but the sheriff's job in large counties like ours isn't that big a county, but the sheriff is so much more than just a law enforcement guy anymore. Always has been. The sheriff has a lot of authority in your county. And state by state is different. Here in Texas, you do not want to cross the sheriff, not unless you want to leave the county. And you better hope you don't have to leave several counties because chances are he's related to the sheriff in the next county over. So that's just how it works. Law enforcement's in the blood on some families. And those of you who believe that law enforcement is unconstitutional, reread the Constitution. There's nothing in there that says, and we shall not have a law enforcement. No. Law enforcement needs to operate within the Constitution. It's all the people out there that have sued and done a bunch of legal manipulation stuff that have it to where the police cannot operate inside the Constitution. Well, God, we can't arrest them for that because that's not against the law. The police can't make the laws. Your city ordinances, those are made by your city council. The one, those rules that say can't spit on the sidewalk, or you can't smoke within 20 foot of the front door, or all that stuff like that. You elected those people to tell you what to do. So, God bless y'all. Y'all have a good night. Stay alive, don't die. I'll be back next Saturday. Well, next Tuesday and then Saturday and yada, yada, yada. Thank y'all for stopping in.